the thing that I have always kind of stated in my conversations with her, anyone else, when I'm talking about my mom and her rearing of me, was just kind of like my mom did the best that she could with what she had, and also having understanding that where the things that were lacking, like where I needed more emotional support, my mom didn't have the capability because she herself had never been given that.
Hello, friends. We're back for Black and Curious. I'm Kendrin.
Hey, it's Deja. How y'all doing?
Hello. And if you've never been here before, we do a cross section of commentary on real life and pop culture. Today, Deja has our topic. I don't even remember what it was.
So we are gonna briefly talk through the benefits of having cross-generational friendship and like what that means as
Mm-hmm.
a woman of a certain age, at well, not certain age, of any age, basically.
Yeah.
Um, for me, so to give you like basic understanding, cross-generational friendship basically means like you might be 25, but you have friends that are like 35 and 40.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it
not
can go the other way too.
same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, shout out to friend to the show. We're gonna have her on to have this conversation later on. But for me, one of my besties is like 56 or 7. And I love her. She cracks me up. She's just as vibrant and as lively as I am. She's just an older woman. And I find and have found that I have received a lot of wisdoms through us being in relationship.
Yeah.
I think that having cross generational relationships is highly beneficial to the growing person, because it doesn't have to necessarily be just women specific, but for the sake of our conversation, that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's highly beneficial to the growing person for the fact that you have people that in your life that are not familiarly related to you that can give you advice that is coming from an open and non-biased place.
Mm.
What
Okay.
are your thoughts?
I have, well, my one of my cross generational besties is a family member. It's a cousin. Um, but we have grown into like we've had this very lovely friendship that's really anchored in shopping sometimes, but that's how our moms were and how our moms related to each other. They were shopping buddies. So it started kind of that way, but it's beautiful to be able to like have a space to impart wisdom because she's 10 years my junior, but also to receive wisdom because I have um was similar to you, a friend slash kind of a mentor or whatever, but we're more friends. It's more of a friendship than a mentorship, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just met with her last week, and she's like a year younger than my mom. So, in terms of just beyond just like the wisdom and being a woman of a particular age, which we kind of talked about earlier, um, she gave me interesting insight about relating to my mother, which I was not prepared for. And like, right, right. It was fascinating. So we kind of sat down and we were talking about like how I was raised and we talked about her upbringing and all of those things. And as you know, she's also a mother of, I don't know how old her daughter is. She's probably younger than me, but her daughter has kids and like she's a only child, so she was able to like share a lot of things from my mom's perspective, but that also I was able to like follow up with my mom about, and I actually had a very like interesting conversation with my mom that I don't even think I would have ever thought to have. Like I had my narrative about what my childhood was. I think my mom probably would have had her narrative of like I did the best I could. I didn't do everything right, but I did the best I could. And that's sort of my narrative too, but like there are some glaring areas where I would argue that things could have gone a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And in having that conversation with my friend, it was very much like that was probably fear-based. And me and my mom were able to have a bigger conversation about like, okay, this, and I was able to even reflect on things that my mom did really, really well, because when somebody asks you that, it's like it makes you think. So she asked me, and then I thought about it and I sat with it for a few days, and I asked my mom, like, why did you do this way? Was this an intentional thing,
Mhm.
or was this something that it just was what it was because it was, just how our household worked? And I never I never had even had the inkling or the inclination to talk to my mom about something like that. It never even occurred to me until I had that conversation with my friend.
Hmm. I think that so the irony is that even having this relationship with my bestie Frankie, we have had conversations about like and she also has a daughter who's a couple years younger than me. And so we've had conversations from like daughter perspective to mother perspective, but
Mhm.
as friends about the relationships that we have and like how we operate. And the thing that I have always kind of stated in my conversations with her, anyone else, when I'm talking about my mom and her rearing of me, was just kind of like my mom did the best that she could with what she had, and also having understanding that where the things that were lacking, like where I needed more emotional support, my mom didn't have the capability because she herself had never been given that.
Yeah.
So, and these are conversations that I have not necessarily had with my mother. I think a lot of my reconciliation about my rearing with my parents is just by me being a forever student and really
Mm.
studying people, because like
Yeah.
that's my thing. Um, and coming to understand certain things about their personalities and knowing and also knowing the things that they've shared with me. I don't know that I needed to ask questions about certain things because it was so evident in terms of like the actions that were taken, if that makes
Yeah, and
sense.
I think for me, it was evident. So, just to be more specific, because we have had this conversation here, and I'll link it above, where
Yeah.
we talk about femininity and specifically like gender roles and stuff like that. I think that's something that my mom did really well. But I think it was by, and I sort of asked her, I was like, was this by design because you had bad experiences with certain things, or was this by just the virtue of the fact that we were both girls? Like, like we were both women or females in the house. I wasn't a woman at that point, but like we were both girls in the house basically, and it was two of us and sometimes three, and everything had to get done. And
Hmm.
she just was kind of like, I think it was accidental, but I definitely think, and she really did express a more progressive view even then of like, I'm not going to make you do things you're not good at. I'm not going to make you so that you can be X for
That's
someone else.
lovely. Yeah,
I
that would
want
have
you
been
to
lovely.
basically, I want you to flourish in your, she didn't say it in these words, but it boiled down to like, I want you to flourish in the things that you're good at. And it happened that she and I are good at different things. So we kind of did like, we had a very symbiotic relationship that didn't give me a lot of complexes about gender roles and things like that. So I think
Mhm.
this was like a full circle of things that we've been talking about here, things that have been going on, in my life, things that was able to discuss with my mentor slash friend. And it was just like an opportunity to have a conversation with my mom of like, that was very progressive in a way. So
Mhm.
like, was that intentional, or did you, and it wasn't really, it wasn't for me, it was just more so about getting into her mind. It wasn't really about me trying to get any clarity about it. Like, it is what it is, and I turned out how I turned out, but like I
Mhm.
just wanted to get into her mind about certain things I know that she did intentionally, but certain things I'm not sure that she did intentionally, but it made an impact, and I wanted to get some more information about it, just have an interesting conversation with my mom. And
I
as
love that.
someone who, and this may be getting a little bit deep, sorry, as someone who has multiple people in their life who have lost their parents, it's
Mhm.
like I want to have these conversations with my mom.
Yeah, I
And I
don't
think it's
disagree with you.
important, even if it's not, it doesn't change anything, even if it's, you know, it's just an opportunity to get into my mom's head. And I think that's really cool that I have the opportunity to still do that.
I think for me, on the opposite side of the fence as that, for that, I do this with my dad.
Yeah.
Because my dad and I did not and do not have the relationship that my mother and I have.
Right.
And so like now when I'm having conversations with him, sometimes he just be talking too much. I'm like, look, sir, I'm still your child. You ain't got to tell me all that.
Don't need all of that. So
I don't
much.
need all. I just asked a real basic question. Like the one thing that I remember, and we'll wrap this up. I had asked him if he had ever dated anybody else before my mom, and he told me about this one random lady, and he was like, "Oh, I mean, we never had sex or anything like that. I didn't do that with her." And I was like, "Dad, I don't. Where you going? Come on
Yeah.
back. You done went down the street and around the corner. I ain't asked you for that."
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's just interesting to have these conversations with your friends that help to kind of reframe your perspective around the relationships that you have with your family members, even
For
down to
sure.
like siblings. Um, because Frankie, who I was talking about before, she has 4 siblings, 3 or 4. And having a sister also, and having like a contentious relationship with her sister, she just kind of gave me some perspective. And like sometimes you just got to walk away from people, like, and it ain't no fault of your own. It just, like, you tired of battling, so like why keep continue to do so?
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all drop in the comments and let us know what your thoughts are. Do you have friends that are older than you, or do you have younger friends that like kind of look up to you? I will tell you that is a new kind of phenomenon for me, because I've always been the person with like older friends, and so, or friends that were of the same age group. And so now I'm having a lot more younger friends who kind of look to me for like some sort of advice a little bit. So I give like lovingly, I give auntie vibes, but like, or big sister, big cousin, depending on,
the
who the
relationship
audience is. But it's cracking me up, because I'm like, I'm really coming to the realization that I am fitting to be a woman of a certain age, and like shit is very different. But I don't feel different, but like, this is just weird for me. I feel like we'll have like a longer conversation when I get closer to my birthday.
Yeah.
2 months away, Jack. 2 months, and the girl will be 40.
Yeah. So anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Like Deja said, drop down in the comments. Let us know if you have any intergenerational friendships and how that looks for you, how that shows up in your life. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.